solve x squared minus 3x minus 4 equals 0. Well, we should be able to identify this as a quadratic equation because an equation that follows or has the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 is a quadratic equation. So in that case, the solution for this can be calculated by using the quadratic formula. But there are actually some more methods that you can use. There's factoring, there's completing the square, and there's graphing. But quadratic formula is the easiest and simplest way to solve quadratic equations. So let us use the quadratic formula. It is stated as x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So if you notice, we have two operational symbols here. That's a plus and a minus sign. That is because in dealing with quadratic equations, we are normally or usually required to come up with two answers or two values for x. So of course, those two answers will have to come from two different solutions using addition and subtraction separately. So I will show you that later. So the first thing we would like to do is to assign values for quadratic coefficients a, b, and c. So looking at the equation here, we can see that a is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and so on. So with respect to your equation here, we can say that a would be equal to 1. That is because that's the coefficient of x squared, and there's no number here, so it's understood to be 1. B, that would be negative 3. Always remember that the sign always goes with the number. And then C would be negative 4. So now that you've assigned values to your variables here, the next thing you want to do is to substitute them into the formula. So what will happen is x is equal to negative b, so that would be negative and then b, which is negative 3, plus or minus the square root of b, which is negative 3 squared, minus 4, and then a, b1, and then c is negative 4. So it is all over again 2a, and that would be 2 times 1. Oh, this is a radical here. Okay. Alright, and now that you've substituted the values into the formula, you are ready to solve. So let's try to solve. That would become x is equal to negative 1, since there is no number, so it's understood to be 1. Negative 1 times negative 3. Multiplying negatives will give you positive number or answer. That would be 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 3 squared. The square of a negative is always positive. So that would be 9 minus 4, and then try to multiply a and c, which is 1 and negative 4. That should give you a negative answer of negative 4. And let's just fix the radical here. Okay, and again, that's all over. Now this time, 2 times 1 is 2.